Hi, brothers and sisters. This is Bobby Quitain, and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Today is the fifth Sunday of the Lenten season, and we want to reflect on the Gospel for today, taken from the 11th chapter of the Gospel of John. Do you know, my friend, that the shortest sentence in the Bible is believed to be found in this Gospel? In John 11:35, it says, Jesus wept. Two words in one sentence, but probably one of the most powerful sentences in the Bible. Why? You see, these two words, this one sentence, tells us what God does when we are in pain. It tells us what happens to God when we are suffering. Today we are suffering, and there's a pandemic happening, there's a crisis happening. Marami po ang naghihirap, marami ang umiiyak, marami ang namamatayan, marami ang nagkakasakit. And sometimes we wonder, where is God in all this? Where is God when we suffer? Ano kaya ang ginagawa ng Diyos kapag tayong lahat ay nagdadalamhati? Well, my dear friend, I hope that this particular sentence in today's gospel gives comfort to you. Jesus weeps with you when you weep. Kapag umiiyak ang tao, umiiyak din ang Diyos. God knows our pain. God feels our suffering. God is with us in our suffering. I believe that Jesus is with that widow, comforting that widow after she learned that her husband passed away due to COVID. I believe He is with that father who is struggling to make ends meet because of the economic crisis brought about by this pandemic. I believe He is with the health worker as he or she goes to work every day, risking his or her life to save another life. I believe God is also with the law enforcement agencies in trying to quarantine people, even at the very risk of their own lives. God is with us. That's why He's called Emmanuel. He weeps when we weep. He grieves when we grieve. That is where God is. God isn't absent. God is with us. If we only look deeper, if we are only more sensitive, katabi mo lamang ang Diyos. Now people are saying, if God is so powerful, ba't hindi na lang niya tanggalin tong pandemic na to? Why won't He just put a stop to this right here, right now? You know, my friend, I don't know the answer to that question, but perhaps the gospel today can also give you a hint as to God's ways. Remember, in this particular gospel, Jesus was told of Lazarus' illness days before Lazarus died. And yet the gospel was clear in saying that instead of going right away to Lazarus to heal him, Jesus decided to wait a little. In fact, He waited for 2 more days. And then when He went to Lazarus, Lazarus was already dead. What can we make of this? That God has His reasons sometimes why He delays. And if we look at the gospel today, there's this particular gospel where it says, which gives us a hint as to the reason why Jesus delayed in going to Lazarus. When Jesus heard this, He said, "This illness is not to end in death, but it is for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." In other words, sometimes God delays in answering our prayers because He knows that a greater good is going to come out of it. Eventually, if we respond well to this crisis, if we respond well to this pandemic, God will be glorified and we will be victorious in the end. That is the promise that this gospel brings. Now, human as we are, we can always ask the Lord, Lord, why? Bakit? Ba't kailangan mangyari ito? If you recall the statement of Mary and Martha in the gospel when Jesus arrived, they said, Lord, had you been here, my brother would not have died. Don't we say that to God sometimes? Lord, had you been here, my husband would not have succumbed to COVID-19. Lord, had you been here, this business, my business would not have folded up. Had you been here, my marriage would not have broken down. What am I saying? Sometimes we complain to God. And it's understandable because we are human beings. But let this gospel remind you that God has His reasons. And His reasons are always good. That if we hold on and if we respond well to whatever crisis we face, in the end, we will see God's victory. God will be glorified. And we, the people He loves, will be victorious. Where is God when we suffer? Right there beside you, my friend. Comforting, caring, loving you every step of the way. God bless you.